Well, I figured I would make a little update video on my 944. I haven't really been able to do too much with it recently. Still waiting on a fuel pump to see if it will run. Have a guy that has a fuel pump that he's going to let me borrow for a little bit just to see if it'll run, and then once I know the thing runs and it doesn't make any, funny noises or anything like that, then we'll get into doing some more stuff to it, uh, getting it mechanically sound and road ready. Um, I did do a couple things. I don't know if I had done this in the last video or not, but I took off this wheel to get to the fuel pump down there, and I was looking at the brakes here, and there's no material left on that pad. But luckily, the rotor's still in fairly decent condition. It's not too worn, so rotor will be fine. And I did, after we had turned it over a couple times, I figured it'd probably be a good idea to check the timing belt on it. So I popped the timing belt cover off, and see, it's still intact. It'll be good enough. Just see if it starts and if the thing runs, and it'll definitely be coming off, and a new one will be going on. But I don't know if you can see down there. Yeah, you can. There are a couple gears down there that don't have a belt on it. So I popped the cover off this, and you can kind of see on the timing belt, right on the side, right there. You can see a line where something's been rubbing on it. I was looking at it. I was trying to figure out what was rubbing on it, because I wanted to know. And I looked down the bottom here, and I see a belt wadded up down there. I'm like, oh boy, that's not a good thing. And I see these empty sprockets, those two and the tensioner, and then there's one up here. Those are the gears for the balance shafts that, counterbalance the motor, make it run smoother, run a little bit more like a V6, that smoothness it gets. So I got to digging around in there. I found this down in the bottom of the timing belt housing. This is the balance shaft belt, or what's left of it. It had been down in there for a while. I think it broke while previous owners were driving it, because if you look, this is supposed to be a double-sided belt, but you can see here it stops being a double-sided belt. This is where I would assume one of the gears have been rubbing on it, and wore it just about halfway through the center part. Wore the knobs off it and everything. That braking isn't a big deal. Just the motor shakes a little bit more, doesn't run as smooth, but still runs the way it's supposed to. The biggest thing with a balance shaft belt braking is they have a tendency to take out the timing belt with them. And the problem with that is these motors are interference motors, so if your timing belt breaks, you're pretty much all out of luck, because you'll smash all your valves and then big rebuild time. That's just the timing belt cover sitting in there. I did find another thing when I was getting the lower bolts for this timing belt cover off. In the back here, I was it was funny. I was underneath the car taking out the bolts, and I noticed a little wet spot underneath the car, so I was like, huh, that's not supposed to be there. I know it already leaked out all the brake fluid from the master cylinder, so what could this be? And it looked just like water, the little bit that had dripped out. And so I just left it for a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll take a look at it when I come back. And when I came back later that night, the puddle had gotten bigger, and it was green. So I was like, well, we know what that is. That would be coolant. And the leak is coming from a valve. Right there, you can see that little yellow piece? That's part of that valve. And what that does, you can't really get a good shot of it, but there's the heater hose right here. It runs down to that valve right there. And that is what, that valve is what controls the coolant going to the heater core, you know, to heat the inside of the car. And that valve is, you know, it's plastic, it's old, it's, you know, old, and it's petrified and it's cracked. So that is where the leak had been coming from, and it has drained the reservoir again. So whatever, because we pressure tested the system, cooling system, see where it's coming from, and you can see it just spraying right out of there. So luckily that's a simple thing. You can get a little bit better view of it back there. It's that thing right there. And just to see if it'll run, what we're going to do is just take that out, put a little piece of pipe in there, some hose clamps, and just bypass it for right now. Will be the plan, and that'll be good enough just to see if it'll run. And then once we know it does run, we can do whatever. I did take the sunroof out. I don't know if you noticed, but I did take it out. The motors that pop it up automatically, they don't work. And actually, they weren't even holding it down in the back. I don't know exactly how it's supposed to work, but I would assume the motors are supposed to hold it down in the back. And that wasn't happening, so. And one of the clips was broken, so there's only one clip that was holding the dang thing on. I did a little bit of cleaning in it. I cleaned this door panel, and I got some of the crap off the dash. It's still cracked and a little mangy, but cleaned the center console a little bit, and the dash, and a little bit of stuff. We got kind of bored. Did the headliner and all that, but yeah, we're still working at her. I'm really just waiting on a fuel pump so that I can do anything else with it. Pretty much is the deal. I've been, you know, searching parts online and all that stuff, so that if it does run, we can just go ahead and order all the stuff we need and go from there. But this, under this cover, I don't know if you guys know or if anyone was wondering, that is actually a 944, but this is a 1991 944 S2 that has been fully converted to a dedicated track car. It's got the 3-liter inline 4 dual overhead cam. It's a pretty badass ride. I got to drive it a couple times, couple autocrosses. Those videos are on my channel also. Yeah, so I figured I'd just do a update, and yeah, hopefully soon we'll be able to start working on this thing some more. I'm probably gonna pull the rest of the wheels off now and just take a look at the rest of the brakes, see how toasted they are after looking at the back there. I'll definitely need a lot of stuff, but yeah. Alright, well, hopefully next time I upload a video, it'll be this thing starting up for the first time in 15 years.